Hi everyone, welcome to WellSome, a podcast where wellness meets self-development. I am Vicky, and together in each episode, we're gonna dive deep into real conversation about health and personal growth. So in today's episode, I have the pleasure to have with me Imad, which is a somatic therapist. And welcome to the podcast, Imad.
Thank you for
How are
having
you
me.
today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Amazing. I'm very good. And actually, I can't wait for this episode to be created because I really do believe that everyone should listen to the episode because we're going to talk about topics that everyone should feel and everyone should be familiar with. We're talking about the journey to just explore yourself and explore your traumas and eventually heal from that. And Imad actually is gonna guide you through all the process from just address what is really going on within yourself, address your traumas or just whatever is going on a somatic level, and how to heal through that. So it's actually time to discuss about it, and I can't wait. And I just want to say that me myself, we were discussing about it. I was a client from Imad, and the therapies that I did with him through breath working was really empowering for me, and I felt immediately better. And this is the reason why I want him in the podcast, because I really want him to also tell you guys about this amazing journey called healing. So thank you, Matt, again to be here.
Pleasure.
So before diving deep into the topic, which I have so many questions about, I want to know a little bit about you, about your journey and how you got into wellness and health.
Yeah, so what got me into this field is, my own pain.
Yeah?
And I was struggling with chronic pain,
Okay.
chronic illness. And luckily, I was a physical therapist.
Yeah.
So I've graduated 10 years ago and I've started to work with clients
Yeah.
at helping them with their chronic pain and chronic tension. And I was also at the same time going through my own journey of better health because I've always been someone who values health a lot and I've always wanted to be healthier.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with my own chronic pain as well. I had chronic gut issues and I also had chronic back pain. So also chronic fatigue at a very young age, like I was 23 and I thought that there's something wrong with me and I tried, consulting with doctors and they just gave me pills,
Yeah.
which is sometimes it's required, but not for these cases. Like I would say for extreme cases, yeah, that's fine. But for someone who's young and who's having these symptoms, taking these pills is just going to numb
Yeah.
your connection with your body. So you become more disembodied. And I didn't realize that until I've started to go deeper with myself and not just working on the muscles and the tension in my body on a physical level, but I went deeper into my emotions. And I felt when I faced whatever was inside of me, because we all have traumas, and when I start to see and face my own traumas and my emotions, my chronic pain started to fade away. And
Interesting.
I was like starting to resolve that because it's not anymore coming from a place of fear, it's coming from a place of acceptance, from a place of curiosity. And
Yeah.
from there, I was just accepting whatever is happening with me. And then as I go through that journey of self-discovery, my chronic symptoms started to fade away. And not only that, just also the behaviors, my behaviors got better. So as I going with my own journey, I also was confident to take others, bring others with me in this journey who are willing to take this path as well. So as I was working with clients, I saw that just working on their physical body was not enough. So they always come back to me with the same symptom, with the same tension, with the same pain. And I always value impact. So if I want to make a bigger impact, it's I couldn't just settle with what I'm doing
Yeah.
as a therapist. So I
Yeah.
had to also go deeper with them. And so I started to specialize in emotion and trauma work, and I started to work with them, and we go deeper together, as deep as they want,
Yeah.
and I meet them where they are. And when I was holding space for them, and when I opened the space for them to express, they started to also feel much better. And then so that their physical tension or their physical symptoms went away.
Yeah.
So whether they had gut issues, thyroid problems, shoulder tension, back tension, it's all about an emotion that wasn't fully felt
Yeah.
or expressed. And once we allow that, and once we give that space, they started to feel much better.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's
So this is how you got into somatic therapy.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
It's through my symptoms. It's
Yeah.
through the pain.
Your experience.
Yeah, some people go start this path because they're struggling in their relationships, maybe money,
Yeah.
financial wealth.
Yeah.
For me, it was the pain, my
Yeah.
health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I find myself in your words because as me I as a coach is because I was struggling with gut health so much, and then I couldn't find someone that can explain to me, listen, if you have gut issues is because maybe you're living in a very stressful moment or you have traumas. So like I can relate to this. But together with you, I really want to define what trauma is before diving deep into how can we address it and release it. What is the definition of trauma for you?
So trauma is a conflict where the emotions that is associated to it was not fully felt
Oof, that's powerful.
into completion. That's
Yeah.
it. Why it's not fully felt? Because it wasn't safe. So it wasn't
Okay.
safe to express, it wasn't safe to feel,
Yeah.
it wasn't safe to show. And that blocked that emotion. And what happens with that emotion or that story? It gets stuck in the body.
Okay.
So our fascia and our body, they hold on to memory, right?
Yeah.
And the body remembers. So it gets stuck in the body, it stays in the body, and then it manifests in our lives in the present moment, but we sometimes we're not aware of it.
Yeah.
And it show up as chronic pain, it show up as toxic behaviors, it show up as looping thoughts,
Yeah.
right? So and then once we are able to feel safe again, this is when we can complete the cycle of the emotion and feel it or express it to completion.
Yeah.
Something that wasn't said, something that wasn't felt fully. And once that is complete, then then the story can be resolved.
Yeah. So we can say that actually safety plays a major role in traumas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why if you have someone you feel safe with, or someone you're in a healthy relationship with a healthy man, for example,
Yeah.
or a healthy partner, most people start having symptoms.
Oh, really?
Why? Because they feel safe. So their conflict, their trauma is being resolved. So
Ah,
emotions
okay.
might come up, they might feel emotional, they might feel symptoms, sick,
Yeah.
tired, flu. These are all the symptoms
Yeah.
when you are with someone that you feel safe with.
Interesting.
Yeah, and safety is the pillar, is the number one cure for trauma. So, and the most important thing is to feel safe within yourself,
Yeah.
not just with someone.
Yeah.
So if you feel safe within you, then you can start to resolve your
Yeah.
conflicts, your traumas.
It's very interesting because I always look at it in a different perspective. Like if I am with a person that is unsafe, I will have symptoms. But the fact that I can potentially have symptoms the moment that maybe I'm in a safe situation, but I'm not maybe familiar with, I actually didn't never acknowledge about it. So it's a very interesting point of view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because we've been conditioned to believe that symptoms equals there's something wrong. It's negative signal from
Yeah.
the body, but
True.
it's actually not. Sometimes symptoms is a sign that you're healing, and this is
Yeah.
why when I travel, when people travel, sometimes they don't feel any stress,
Yeah.
they get sick,
True.
and then they say my vacation didn't go well,
True. True.
but actually it went so well
Yeah.
that your body was healing there
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's not anymore in a fight or flight state.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a matter of perspective
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah.
exactly.
And how does trauma manifest in the body? So how can we recognize, oh, there's something actually that I need to look at, and probably is trauma.
So it can be the case with me, like the same that happened with me, where trauma, I realized that I have trauma from the chronic pain.
Yeah.
So if you have tension or pain symptoms that are not going away,
Yeah.
that you're stuck in the pain, and if you have it's chronic, it's taking too long and it's not resolving, this is one of the signs where you know, okay, I probably have a trauma that I need to deal with,
Yeah.
which is coming from an emotional suppression,
Okay.
right? So this is what's causing the inflammation in the body, the chronic pain in the body,
Yeah.
right? It could be anger, it could be fear, it could be grief.
Yeah.
So these stuck emotions is what is creating the chronic pain, and they will increase cortisol levels in the body.
Yeah.
And this is when you start, your body is always in a fight or flight state, and you're always living in a survival state. So you start having these chronic symptoms or chronic pain. So this is one of the signs where you know, okay, I have trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you think about something that still bothers you, or still move something in you, like you feel angry when you think about it, or you're looping around these thoughts, this is also, this means that there's a story
Yeah.
that is still not resolved fully into completion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Do you think that acceptance can actually help traumas to be released, or at least take the first step?
Yeah. This is what I always say about healing. Healing it's all about acceptance. So when I went into my healing journey, I saw that I have a lot of traumas,
Yeah.
and where can I start? Right? Like there's a lot of traumas and I have a lot of things to deal with,
Yeah.
but okay, where should I start? And then I realized that for a while I've been stuck and looping in my traumas and looping in my own stories. But then I realized that I just need to accept myself,
Yeah.
accept where I am.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will keep looking for the next experience to heal me, for the next wound, for the next healing to happen in order to be healed. But it's never gonna happen like this.
Yeah.
And you look at your traumas and then you say, I might as well just accept myself.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
And from that space, you can just you can trust that whatever needs to be resolved will be resolved at the moment, because you don't healing doesn't happen in a yoga mat
Yeah.
or a therapy table or in a room. It's not labeled like that.
Yeah.
We can heal in each moment if we accept ourselves, and if we are aware.
Yeah.
Life is healing us every moment.
Yeah.
So whatever is not being resolved on a personal level, whatever the things that I couldn't, like the traumas that I can't resolve within myself,
Yeah.
life is gonna bring me something that will help me resolve it.
Yeah.
Whether it's conflicts with people, situations, that's why we need each other to heal.
Yeah.
Because we mirror each
We
other.
mirror each other.
So whatever I couldn't see in myself, someone else will come and make me see it.
Yeah.
And so just trusting that this will happen, and accepting myself.
Yeah.
And since then, I stopped looping around and looking for the next healing to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I can imagine, and I can see that. And also I don't know if you agree with me, but I'm sure is that healing is not instant. It's not that you're doing one practice and then poof, you're healed.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a matter of like practices, and then confront yourself, and then maybe fail sometimes, and then it's a journey.
Yeah. But also, I want to clarify something about accepting yourself.
Yeah,
Accepting yourself means accepting all your emotions, even the shame. So it doesn't mean that I accept myself. It's if I did mistakes, then I shouldn't,
yeah,
look into
absolutely.
it, or I should. No, it doesn't mean like that. It's
Yeah,
like accept that you've done mistakes, accept your shame, accept that you've done something bad, and accept also that where you are is not perfect,
yeah,
and that's okay,
yeah,
right? And you can be vulnerable and show up as your true self, and that's the most healing thing
yeah.
you can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that you clarified that. And another question, I know a lot of people, and including myself, that actually people know like that we have patterns. No, we have patterns that we naturally fall in now
Yeah.
and then. And we know that maybe we should shift and change the pattern or just break through. So consciously we know, but maybe subconsciously, or like it takes a lot of time to just break the pattern, because it's something that we're used to, it's familiar. But if we really want to break this pattern, where we should start?
I would say start with, this is why I talk a lot about the nervous system.
Yeah,
I would start with being in a place of groundedness, being in a place of regulation. Because when you are in that state, you can, even if you didn't break the pattern yet, what happens if you don't break the pattern? You would be tough on yourself.
yeah,
You would say bad things about yourself. You
yeah,
will take it too hard on yourself,
yeah,
right? So if you are regulated and if your nervous system is able to hold space for that, then you can just fully allow yourself to not break the pattern in the moment.
yeah,
It's just fully allow yourself to not break it. It's fine.
yeah,
And then you know that in a time will come where you can break it finally, because
yeah,
if you at least see the pattern, if you are aware of the pattern, that's good. That's
yeah,
the first step.
yeah,
And then it repeats again, and it repeats again, and then it repeats again, and it means it's coming to your awareness.
yeah,
So the more it's coming to your awareness, eventually you will break it.
yeah,
So I would say, if the pattern you couldn't break, don't be too hard on yourself.
good.
So that's the main thing, because I was very hard on myself whenever I couldn't break any
Me too.
pattern.
Me too. That's why I asked
Yeah.
also.
And this is when acceptance comes.
Yeah,
You accept that you can break the pattern and you fully allow it, and then you also trust that
yeah.
a moment will come where you will be ready to fully break it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to hear that, because I was also the typical one that recognized the pattern, and I was so angry at some point to myself because I couldn't break it. And then I was like, what's wrong? I'm doing all of this and all of that. But then the fact that, okay, just sit down and acknowledge that it's a pattern. So maybe it's going to take a little bit of time. And maybe the first time you're not going to succeed. Maybe the third time you're going to succeed. But just the fact that you acknowledge at least that you have a pattern, at least you're present.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you will take it too hard on yourself.
yeah,
But when you go to a path where of welcoming, of allowing
yeah,
whatever is happening with you, and then you can, from that place, from that space, because you're allowing, you're not tough on yourself, it will resolve faster.
yeah, yeah. So would you say that actually acceptance is the first step for like to start the healing journey? Uh, what kind of like practice that we should embrace in order to be on our healing journey? And is it the same for everyone? I'm sure it's not. What is the process?
Yeah, I would say awareness. Start with awareness,
Yeah,
and then acceptance come. comes next. And where we start, so for me, when I started to look into the complex, my complex traumas, I did a mistake where I forgot the basics, the foundation of the nervous system, the
Yeah.
body, and the mind, and which is the most basic stuff, right? Hydration, sleep, uh, s- being outdoors, sunlight.
Yeah.
These very simple yet very effective basic
Yeah.
foundations.
Yeah.
And we tend to forget about them when we go into our want
True.
to dive deep into
So
our
true.
traumas. So I was going into my traumas, forgetting about, I know them, I did them,
Yeah.
but I just forgot about them
Yeah.
and went straight to my traumas. And that was a little bit difficult for me in the beginning
Yeah.
because I realized that I wasn't regulated. I wasn't preparing myself for it.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, just build the foundation where you have a resource nervous system, a foundation where your nervous system has the capacity or grows its capacity to start holding whatever emotions or difficult stories that you are about to face,
Yeah.
which is why sleep, hydration, and grounding and sunlight, these basic stuff needs to be on a daily basis
Yeah.
established. And working on your nervous system through somatic practices, through some movement, through any type of practice that you choose that fits you best.
Yeah.
There's a lot of practices.
Yeah.
So you can choose which practice that helps you, that brings you back to your body, brings you back into your nervous system, grounds you.
Yeah.
And then you can start to, once you build the capacity and the resilience, you can start to go deeper into your traumas. And whatever emotions you are about to face, you can hold it.
Yeah. So let's say start from the basic first and then do the deep work.
Exactly. So the nervous system first, nervous system regulation first,
Yeah.
and then you can start going deeper into
Yeah.
these somatic experiences or the traumas and the complex
Yeah.
traumas and emotions.
What's happening, for example, if a person is not taking care really of the basics, but is just diving deep into this traumatic healing sessions? Is there like a side effect of it?
Yeah, I mean, what will happen is the same thing that happened to me,
Yeah.
is where started to found myself drowning and looping into this cycle,
Spiral. Yeah.
spiraling around the cycle
Yeah.
of the wounds and the traumas and the stories and but I always found myself dysregulated the whole time, and I couldn't regulate myself
Interesting.
because I didn't have the foundation.
Yeah.
I forgot how to prepare myself.
Yeah.
I was doing it in the beginning, but then I forgot.
Yeah.
So this will happen. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Just not just start with the basics. Remember the basics. Live the basics every day as you go deeper within
Yeah, and
yourself.
use the basics to regulate, and then eventually, it's like building a house without foundations. At some
Exactly.
point, it will crash.
It will crash.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I really like about your work is that you're not only talking about healing, but you also talk about integration. So, what is the difference?
Integration means that it just means that you are embodying your new ways of living.
Yeah.
You're embodying your true self. So whatever insights, whatever experiences you had, some people go travel and have extreme experiences, with maybe plant medicine or
Yeah.
these like extreme experiences
Yeah.
where they get deep insights and they have their breakthroughs, but on a daily basis, there's nothing that's applied. They're not
It's not
embodying.
sustainable. Yeah.
It's not sustainable. They're not embodying what they've gained
Yeah.
or what they've received.
Yeah.
So integration helps you embody the insights, the experiences that life brings you. and and it's much more sustainable when you focus on that aspect.
Yeah.
So there's preparation, there's the experience, and then there's integration. So how can you bring your healing and your new insights into your daily life?
Yeah.
And this is for me, especially I'm talking about myself because I didn't know what integration means before,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to integrate. But then once I learned the tools that will help me integrate, I also have a membership where people can come and also have see the courses and see the tools to help them integrate on a daily basis. And so there's a lot of ways to integrate. There's also simple ways, just grounding and again, working on the nervous system.
Yeah.
So prepare the nervous system, go through this experience, and then integrate and come back again to
Yeah. Yeah.
regulation.
I found this very, I think this is fundamental because at the end of the day, it's good to do the work, but it's also good to integrate in our daily life because sometimes what I see is that there's a lot of, we're talking about healing as if it's this experience that is a little bit like out of the lines, but then when it comes to daily life, then it's so like we cannot, I don't know, fly to Bali and have retreats every single week. It's good that you take the practices that are good for you and your bio individuality, and then you keep on going and maintaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that you said that, and you are practicing this with your clients.
Exactly. And integration is all about repatterning and rewiring the nervous system.
Yeah.
And the most effective ways to integrate is through the environment that you are in, the attention that you give to specific things, because
Yeah.
when you give attention to a habit or to a behavior or to something that you find meaningful, this also helps you integrate
Yeah.
your new insight or to a new behavior or to a new thought,
Yeah.
right? Also, what helps you is rest, sleep, hydration.
Yeah.
And this is really the what's going to help you integrate on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Rest, by the way, it's the most important because most people are attach their self-worth to doing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard for them to rest. So there
Yeah.
is a lot of resistance.
Yeah.
Also that happened with me whenever I find some time
You
and I
feel
just
guilty,
I just
yes.
want to rest. I just feel like there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
I
Something
have
is not working.
I have to do something. Like
Yeah.
even when I'm resting, I have to do something.
Yeah, true.
You know, and that's very tiring for the nervous system.
Yeah.
If you're resting, just fully allow yourself to rest, and you're not lazy if you're resting.
Yeah.
You're just resting.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, just allow yourself to rest.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I think with this overstimulation that we have nowadays through social media and through phones, I think sometimes we have this guilt that I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. No, why am I resting? I need to work. I need to hustle. But then at some point, in order to do this, you need to rest as well.
We in one of our retreats we just had we were isolated in the mountains, and all we had to do is doing the practices, rest and eat, sleep. That's all
Yeah.
we did. And the rest in between the practices was very, very powerful because you are when you integrate when you rest, you are integrating the biological upgrades that you're getting, and also the psychological upgrades that are coming to the surface, and you
Yeah.
can just start to embody that much faster.
Yeah.
So that was a very important thing. We've all noticed it when we were resting in between the sessions. Integration was happening very fast,
Yeah.
just by resting, just by doing nothing.
Yeah. Amazing. That's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Very
Yeah,
powerful.
Powerful.
Exactly.
So I don't know if you have seen recently, but as many people are talking about wellness practices, especially now on social media, the word trauma, I feel that has been used in many, many ways, in positive, but also negative ways. So did you feel like sometimes the word trauma is slightly abused, or do you really think that actually is a good moment where people are finally speaking up about this.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I mean, it's all about perspective. Some people are afraid of this word,
Yeah.
some people welcome it. And I would say just learning what really trauma is on a
Yeah.
biological level,
Yeah.
not just on a psychological level, would change your perspective in a more positive way. Because there's nothing wrong with trauma. It's just a moment where it's a moment of shock. It's a
Yeah.
moment where you felt your needs weren't met, you were caught off guard,
Yeah.
and in that moment, a biological shock happened, a biological change happened
Yeah.
in your system, and there's really nothing wrong with seeing it this way.
Yeah.
I would say that's why we don't want to use it. Some people don't want to use it a lot. Sometimes they say wound
Yeah.
instead of trauma because it is a wound. It's a psychic wound, something that happens to you for you on a psychic level.
Yeah. Is there a difference between trauma and wounds in terms of meaning?
It's the same. It's the meaning of trauma is a wound.
Okay.
It's a wound that affected your biology
Okay.
and your psychology as well.
Okay. Okay.
and
Okay.
and from that moment, you, for example, that moment where you felt hurt, betrayed, conflicted, you shut down and you dissociated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the reason why I'm into somatics is because somatics helps you reconnect with your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So, is there something that you heard about healing and about somatic work that is really true and you really want to underline and bring up, and something that you heard or you've seen that you think it's super wrong and this message, in your opinion, shouldn't really pass through?
I mean, I can only speak from my experience. What I realized is that through somatics, you are actually resolving trauma and emotions from a place of uh, biologically. What I learned is that what I thought I knew is because the trauma is stuck in the mind, like it's
Yeah.
mental, and what I've experienced was something different. But that was not something someone told me. That's something I thought was true. And because I was always trying to psychoanalyze my wounds, but then turns out that it didn't lead me anywhere.
Yeah.
It was still stuck. I still felt stuck. So going back into my body, and this is where the real work happened, is when I faced my feelings and I resolved them biologically, and it's painful. It's a painful process.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's easier to psychoanalyze
Yeah.
your wounds and feelings instead of like actually feeling them,
Yeah.
just letting them pass and letting them move.
Yeah.
So I would say that was the biggest realization, where in order to resolve a conflict,
Yeah.
you have to face it and you have to resolve it biologically.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I have a very, very, I would say, not really controversial, but I have a very interesting question for you. So we know that actually male and women are built differently, and women are naturally more maybe emotional, and they're more, I would say, they follow their intuition more, and while the masculine is naturally maybe a little bit more logical. It's a bit superficial to saying like this, but my question is, do you find a difference between like men and women the moment you help them heal? Is there like, are women more open because maybe they have an emotional predisposition, and male they hesitate a little bit, or what have you seen from your experience?
From my experience, I mean, there's some science saying that women are more emotional beings,
Yeah.
right? They're more emotional, and this is why definitely they're more open for that kind of work. That's why most of my clients are women.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this let's just state some facts here.
Yes.
The man, they're more logical, and they come for different reasons,
Yeah.
right? They come for different reasons, but definitely the women are more interested in that space.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is going to if that's going to change, but I don't think that's a bad thing,
Yeah.
because you need the balance, right?
Yeah.
and uh, and yeah, I mean, men, it's also because of the conditioning of men. Like, men are not the man shouldn't cry, man shouldn't be
Yeah.
in touch with their emotions, man should be more masculine. I think that's also one of the reasons why men resist this type of work, or to face
Yeah.
themselves. But most men come for more financial blockages and
I
stuff like that,
see. I
right?
see.
Like the logical
Yeah, I
part,
see. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The tangible
The
part. Yeah.
tangible
Yeah, yeah,
part,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the money blocks, the financials, all of that. Women as well. I'm not saying no, but this is my
From
experience.
your
Like,
experience,
this
yeah.
is why they're coming, and women mostly because of their relationship with their partner.
Yeah.
Like, the relationship is what's helping them
Yeah.
heal themselves, because they're having conflicts in their marriage or in their relationship, and it's mirroring their own
Yeah.
wounds,
Can
and they just,
imagine.
yeah, and it's not about the other person, it's about them, it's
Yeah.
about resolving
Absolutely.
their own
Absolutely.
traumas. Yeah.
And can you share with us a successful story from a client who healed from his or her traumas, which particularly caught up your attention, and a very, very successful story where you can see, wow, this person is radiating like a different energy and feels so good in her body, her mind.
I have a lot of stories, and these stories have made me more confident to speak about my work. And I can state some few stories. Is like, one of the clients, she had arthritis,
Yeah.
which is like the chronic joint inflammation, and she was resolved, like years of chronic inflammation and arthritis. She was diagnosed with that, and then after we've done some work together, it was completely resolved, and she didn't relapse. She's still feeling so much better.
Yeah.
Then I have clients where they had other chronic symptoms, like back pain, neck pain, gut issues, and it's been almost fully resolved.
Wow.
I wouldn't say fully resolved, but uh, much better than before,
Yeah.
because they've went into their deeper stories that caused these symptoms to be there in the first place,
Yeah.
right? Because all symptoms is they're just messages, signals from the body to bring more attention to them.
Yeah.
They're just messages, so that once we learn the message, the symptoms will be resolved.
Yeah.
And this is what happens with most of my clients. And I love my work because I can witness that with them.
Yeah.
So you can witness the transformation. Um, Also, other parts in the life, other aspects in their life becomes much better, like their relationship with their partner, the things that used to bother them doesn't bother them anymore.
Yeah.
They used to think about something that triggers their anger, and it doesn't anymore. So that's more freedom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
you're much more free when you can live your life without any
Yeah.
without getting triggered every
Yes.
second, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
pain or triggered every
Definitely.
second. So that's that. These are like the stories
Yeah.
that I can recall now.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And Imad, I always ask my guests about their daily routine. What's your daily routine?
Mm. I don't have a daily routine,
Okay.
because one day I feel like doing something and the next day I don't feel like doing it. So I wake up and I just ask my body, what does it need? I know the tools and I just choose the tools that I want.
Okay.
Maybe today I just want to move my body. I wake up, I just want to move my body. The next day I feel like I want to meditate. The next
Yeah.
day I just feel like I want to breathe. So there's honestly, I don't believe in discipline, I believe in devotion.
Okay. Tell me about it.
When you're devoted, you are devoted to the work from a heart space.
Mm-hmm.
You're devoted, but you are not, you're consistent,
Yeah.
but you're also flexible.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
You know, you're flexible. If you what happens if you're disciplined and one day you didn't do it? Maybe your body just wanted to rest,
Yeah.
and that's okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up, I don't feel like I want to do anything, any
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
So, but what's definitely in my, it's what's definitely that's something that I mostly do is I choose one of the practices, whether it's movement, breath, meditation, and hydration. Like hydration is is key. That is, as soon as I wake up, especially when you live in an environment
In
like
a dry
Dubai,
country. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't help. Your detoxification is not optimal.
Yeah.
So I make sure I hydrate the first thing I wake up in the morning with my lemon water, Celtic salt.
Yeah.
Each person calls it something.
Yeah.
So with this hydration, but then I choose one of the practices that I feel like I need,
Yeah.
and I just do it.
Yeah. Amazing. You're just following your intuition and you listen to your body
Exactly.
daily. Okay.
Exactly.
Amazing. And where can our listeners find you?
So I work with a center, wellness center here. It's called Home of Wellness. I'm also a freelance. So for people who want to who are looking also to go deeper, they can join one of my retreats. I also have a clinic in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
If people are, whenever I'm around, I hold sessions there as well.
Yeah.
So these are the places where people can find me, and also on Instagram, um, my full name. They can just write it.
We're gonna link it so you can easily find them.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then you can see where you find me next. So sure.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, last question for you. Let's say I'm listening to this podcast and I find this conversation very interesting, and especially the work that you're doing. And I acknowledge the fact that I really want to work on myself. Which is the piece of advice that you would tell the listener that it's already feeling something? Which is the piece of advice that you would give to this listener?
Start slowly. Don't take big steps. It's
Yeah.
not never gonna be. It's never gonna work. It's not sustainable. So take one step at a time, very slow. What can you change today, right?
Yeah.
That you know that is gonna make you feel better later. And I had a story with one of my cousins. He said, if I want to lose weight, I need to stop eating the food that I like. I need to do this. I need to do that. I said, no, stop this, man.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just walk for 5 minutes a day. He said, that's it. I was like, that's it.
Start slowly. Yeah.
1 month later, he's walking in Kite Beach.
Yeah.
And he says hi he was on the
Yeah.
bicycle. He says hi, and he's doing it for 1 hour, and he's consistent and he's losing weight.
Yeah.
That's because he started slowly, and then consistently, with time, it became embodied in his nervous system.
Yeah.
So repetition.
Yeah.
That's also part of integration.
And maybe he didn't feel overwhelmed and left, the mission after one trial, because it was step by step.
Exactly. Walk 5 minutes. Go to a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
Do somatic therapy. I don't know, like move.
Explore.
Breathe a little. Breathe for 2 minutes. Just what can you do? How
Yeah.
much is your capacity?
Yeah.
And meet your capacity.
Amazing. Imad, thank you so much for this lovely conversation. It was
pleasure.
super interesting.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you so much for being with us, and I'll see you on the next episode. Good.